This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
All right, so now would be the time where we're going to talk about Bob's soapbox. So I'm going to take it back to Bob.
Ooh, my soapbox. I need an actual soapbox.
Fun camera angles and stuff.
Ooh. Anyways, today I want to talk about, since I'm running for Oxford City Council, I want to go ahead and talk about an issue that came to my attention recently. And there's a lot to say about it. It's obesity. It got me thinking, because obesity is a big problem in America. I am not immune to it. But it's the biggest issue I find is that, like, Americans largely, we're working too hard. We don't have time to really eat healthy. It's really easy to just go to a fast food place and get something to eat, which is terrible for you. It's the worst thing you should do. It's not terribly expensive to just go buy produce or something like that, but it's not prepared. It's going to be a bit of work. It's not going to taste as good. It's not going to have all those addictive additives in it or anything like that. And part of the problem, where we go? Part of where this all started was I learned a lot of this, I want to say, in a documentary called King Corn. It's actually not a great documentary until about midway through, where it takes off and it goes into all this stuff, and it's pretty much worth watching for the second half. Just bear through it for the beginning. But when they talk about how the Nixon administration, it used to be part of U.S. Policy, would be essentially we'd pay farmers for growing the food we need in the country. And we would even pay them not to plant crops because we don't need crops, so don't produce that. So it would actually be a thing where we're sustaining the farmers and in turn they're feeding us. And the Nixon administration, specifically the Secretary of oh my God, I can't say that word today. Agriculture, Earl Butz. Secretary of Agriculture. Why am I going to say it again? Anyways, Earl Butz changed the laws so that farmers won't get paid for not planting crops. So that means if farmers want to get paid, they have to start changing... oh my God. Okay, I might have to do stuff in post. They're going to have to start planting as much crops as possible. So what this meant was to fill in the gaps and start earning money, they would be planting corn, because corn you could grow tons of corn and mass produce it fairly easily. This is why the U.S. has tons of corn products right now. This is why one of the biggest sweeteners you have is high fructose corn syrup, which is terrible for you. It's because we just have so much corn. You know, it might be just as bad as sugar, but it doesn't taste as good as sugar. That's for damn sure. But, so it got me thinking, how could we fix this? And obviously, I think what we need to do is go back and change agricultural policy. But a quicker way to start fixing this would be to look at the food stamp system, which is an often maligned system, essentially seen as being handouts for the poor, which is terrible framing, but it's what you always hear with all these welfare programs. The way you need to help with that is to make it a universal program, I feel. So what you do is you make food stamps for all. Everybody gets food stamps, but then you limit it. Say you can only get fresh fruits and vegetables with these food stamps. That way everybody has, maybe... I need to do the math. But let's say $100 a month that you can only spend on fresh fruits and vegetables. Everybody gets that. And will that solve the obesity epidemic? No, but it is a step in the right direction. And those are just kind of my ideas on how to combat some of these issues. Any thoughts on that, Rob?
I commonly do hear the narrative of food stamps being handouts for the poor. I do often enough, and I personally get discouraged by that because I'm someone I've had a long career of working in the service industry, Bob. In fact, I met you working in the service industry. And I'll say this though, it is definitely thankless work. I mean, I've had jobs where I've been managers and had to run floors, had to run kitchens, had to fill stuff, or had to keep coolers stocked and employees happy. I've had to run almost every gambit in this game, and I will say that it's different than cooking food for the public when it comes to like cooking food for yourself. Because I'll admit, after a 10-hour day, I am not going to stand in front of my stove in my kitchen. And even with the convenience of even stopping somewhere on your way home, you could even get home, open your phone, and have it brought to your door. 2020 showed that to be phenomenal, because I know that a lot of those drivers of those courier or those third-party courier and delivery services, I know that they all made a killing this past year, which is good because a lot of people weren't. But for food stamps helping, I do feel it is definitely a step in the right direction. I think that some people might need to, I don't want to say be more motivated, because that's just such like a...
Well, it still doesn't tackle the issue that people are like overworking, and the fact that people could work 40 hours a week and still need food stamps.
And still need it, yeah.
You know, and I'm talking about food stamps for all here, but that's different. You know, essentially, no matter who you are, you'd get some food stamps. Don't look down on anybody, because everybody's getting it.
No,
but the very fact that you need these social programs to help you out when you're working 40 hours a week, that's a whole different issue. And essentially, my thoughts are either the government needs to step up, or, well, largely government needs to step up, but the businesses need to start paying people a fair wage. No, what we're talking about. But.
I understand that, yes, but I was bringing up like the like working so hard and being so tired. Like, you know, I don't feel like I want to waste the time or the effort for it. The food stamps for all, putting everyone on an even playing field, that would definitely be a step in the right direction towards it. I think maybe making the language a little bit more clear on what food stamps can be spent on, just like how you said, you know, fresh produce and that. But this is my own mindset of it. I would say maybe encourage more communities to have their own gardens and own self-sustainability, like ones that are ran by the community themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that could actually go towards the food stamp thing. The food stamps can only be used towards something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously, if they can't, if you're in a community that can't provide that specific thing, then
exactly.
It's fine.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's an interesting idea. That would help the local businesses.
Yeah.
Which goes into a separate idea I had. Yeah.
Well, me personally, I've had waves where even when I was living with my parents, we were growing our own vegetables. We were growing our own tomatoes and peppers. I had more jalapenos and Thai peppers and bell peppers than I knew what to do with.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I didn't have to go out and buy them if I wanted to make them with something at home. I would just go out, rinse it in my sink, cut it, throw it in a pan, and donezo.
Yeah. I think...
But putting everyone on that equal thing, I think some folks might have some adjustment to having to spend it, probably never having to experience it in their life. And for their discomfort, I'm all there for. But that's I'm kind of evil. But I do feel it would be. I mean, like you said, bottom line is like there are government programs there to help people because they need it.
Yes.
When we met, for example, we were working at a college. When the kids would go out of break, we were out of work.
Yeah.
We would just file for unemployment for what, like 3 months?
Yeah, God, those were cheap months too.
they were cutting it thin. Months indeed. I'm kind of happy that you and the other boss let us empty the coolers.
Yeah.
That company went under, and the same catering company doesn't work at that college anymore. So
I did not know that, but
yeah,
I did not keep
I believe that catering company is no longer there. I believe it's a different one now. Besides, it's not even a college anymore. It's a university.
Well, something I felt like in my thing I didn't really clearly go over. The idea being essentially, you have these food stamps. You're going to use fresh produce and fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, and then it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, do you get fast food or do you get this apple that essentially you can just get, and it's not going to cost you any money. And, well, it'll cost you food stamps, but, that's all you can use the food stamps for. It's the supply of money used strictly for healthy foods, which I think that will help a lot of people it'll make it easier for them to get into the healthy habits if they so choose. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job, but I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.